So that banner hangs out in the rafters where we tape all the TV episodes and stuff like that for reality wrestling and everything. And it's a long list of people. It's got like Kylie Ray and Dio Madden, and you got Brian Keith, Ninja Max, Sammy Guevara, the Uso, Roxanne Perez, Medina. I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to prosper and be good enough to be noticed in that way, to have a band surrounded by all those wonderful and talented people. And then also every single one of those people, large or small, I played a part in helping with it, right? Now, I'm never going to take full credit for any of them, and I don't have to, right? But it's one of those things that, like, I played a part, and every single one of those people gotten better. So when I look at that and I tell students that, I also look at it as, like, not a gloating thing. I'm sitting there going, hey, man, there's that wall, too. And there's that rafter right over there. Like, you should look at it and how I look at things, too, from other people, that rather than trying to compare yourself to somebody, because comparison leads to joy, as we know, is a cliche, which is true. You look at that and you go, well, heck, if he or she got one, I can get one, too, right? So right. Students look at that and go, oh, okay. Oh, he got that. What? A couple years, I'll have those. Cool.
And welcome to a second season of Crash Course, where we're highlighting different wrestling schools, particularly here in Texas. And I have had a huge privilege of covering reality of wrestling. And what better way to start off this series than to have one of the coaches in Ryan Davidson on the season. How are you?
So far, so good, man. I'm here. I'm also seeing, too, like, as you can see, I'm in the production office here at Reality Wrestling headquarters. But I see your great setup behind you, and I noticed over your right shoulder, which would be my left, you got Metal Gear Solid.
Very solid.
Hey, man, that is my franchise, man. So I'm checking out all your digs around there, and I think there might be some Gundam Wing over there off to your left.
Right on the left. Right. Yes, sir.
Say it, bro. Did we just become best friends? Probably.
Yes, so, we probably. By the end of this episode, we'll see how this goes.
There you go. There you go.
Highlighting, like your training, and who were your trainers when you started wrestling?
So, I broke into wrestling while I was still playing college football at West Texas A&M University, which, ironically enough, I knew going into West Texas that everybody knew about Terry Funk and Dory Funk, because they were boosters in the athletics departments and stuff like that, and they played football there. Unbeknownst to me, when I played there, I found out that it's kind of like Wrestler University. It's kind of weird how the universe everything comes together, because Duffy Rhodes, Tito Santana, Tully Blanchard, Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody. I'm trying to see, did I miss anybody else? Outside of Terry Funk and Dory Funk, they all play sports at WT, known as West Texas State then. And still the same university, because in their volleyball arena, they had like all these old pictures of like wrestling from like the old territory days, and like Andre the Giant, all this stuff. So I thought it was super cool. So me breaking into wrestling, I was still playing college ball. So I broke in Amarillo Championship Wrestling. My first two trainers really was a guy by the name of Private Terry Daniels, who did a lot of work with WWF back in like the late 80s and World Class and stuff like that. And then there's a local guy named Blade. His real name was BJ. And, I did that for about maybe a year and a half. And then I went to Oklahoma City in Oklahoma, and then pretty much got really grounded in as far as wrestling and everything like that by Mr. Ebony Tom Jones, not the singer Tom Jones, Mr. Ebony Tom Jones. And TJ was responsible for training a lot of guys in the Oklahoma, North Texas area. And he was like a pioneer for black wrestlers, like back in like the 50s, 70s and stuff like that. Like he had big rivalries when he worked the territories in Oregon with like Flair and Piper, and, his tag team partner was Red Van Steen. He was like, I think, the first black guy to win a single championship in the South, I believe, because I know the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame that was in Wichita Falls, they had stuff on him on there. And TJ was great, man. Great trainer. Really kind of taught me like what your duties are from a babyface and heel perspective and stuff like that. And, I got groomed up too by a lot of the local veterans there in Oklahoma and stuff that really smartened me up on things and stuff like that. But, and then from there, I've been running around on the indies around the country for about 4 years up to that point. And then in 2007, I moved back home to my hometown in Houston, Texas, started doing the indies and stuff like that. And I always knew of Booker T wrestling school. That was the goal. It's like, I just want to go to
Yeah.
Book. It's back in my hometown. I grew up, born and raised in Houston. I'm like, perfect. I love Book. Always have, this, that, whatever. And, I was wrestling an indie show and I had a guy who was a buddy that was working for Booker T at the time. He saw me have a match with some, a guy that was working that night. And we had mutual friends. And, I get done with the match and one of the other wrestlers on the show was like, hey, there's some people in the back, outside the locker room that want to talk to you. So I thought they were fans. I was like, okay. I go and talk in the back and they were just like, dude, that match was great. You gotta come to Book. You gotta come to Book. And I was like, yeah, that's the plan, right? And sure enough, like literally within a couple of days, hey man, come in. I think it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Come on down to, Booker T's gym down there on Commerce Street, downtown Houston, where it was at the time. And I went down there and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got the red carpet treatment unbeknownst, of just like, oh crap, I get to meet Book. And I've met Book like once and took a picture with him at the airport and everything like that. And I'm like, hey, I'm from Houston, can I get a picture? He's like, that doesn't matter, and it's just like, whatever. But like, I got to meet him and he watched some matches and, right out the gate, just dropping nuggets of wisdom. And I'm just like, okay. And I could tell you at that time when I was training with, at Booker's, Booker was also like, this was the tail end of like his WWE run before he went to TNA. And Booker at that time, when you went to go train, he was in the ring with you. So I'm literally going from like wrestling the indies, doing that, whatever, still wrestling the indies. I'm a part of Books. And then I'm in the ring with top dude. And he's like, yo, let's run this drill. And I'm like, okay. And, and I could tell you flat out, it's no exaggeration. I learned more in pro wrestling, just about, working psychology and all this stuff. I learned more in 6 months than the 4.5, 5 years prior of just running the road and stuff like that, just from being around a guy with that type of knowledge and stuff like that. And, then, I mean, like I said, when I went to Books, and he tells this to a lot of people, it's like, this isn't a wrestling school, it's a performing art. It's like anybody can teach you a headlock, anybody can teach you a body slam, but how to teach you to like be a star or set yourself apart, that's where Book comes in, and it's true. I'll be honest with you. And trust me, I had tried to fight Book on every bit of knowledge he's ever given me, because I can tell you, I've probably been yelled at by Bookers than anybody that's ever came through these doors and stuff like that. And I can tell you, I've kicked, screamed, this, that, whatever, about like, oh no, there's got to be another way. There got to be another way. There wasn't. The man was right. I even told him that the other night, and he laughed. He's like, no, I'm like, yeah, you're right the whole time, Book. It's all good. Love you, buddy. So yeah, it was funny.
I was gonna ask that too, because like within that 6 month span, like how much of a difference that is to learn as much as you can within those 4 years. What was like that one factor that made you pick things up quicker within that span of that month, of those 6 months?
It was a lot of things, but I will say like the biggest thing was like having meaning within you doing something, knowing that motion is action. The difference between hee and ha, that was a big one, right? Hee and ha, just like, from certain performers' perspectives, you can have somebody giggle or just kind of have some egg on your face, but you never want to cross that line where the audience will always think that, oh, you're the fun guy now, which is nothing wrong with that. But if you're not trying to go in that direction, you can't go over the top, right? And all this stuff. And then biggest thing was like making the things that you're doing in the ring mean something, getting the point across, not just doing them just to do them. It's really just what happens before you do this thing and how you're going to react to after doing that thing. Well, what's your direction there? And just so many different facets to where, once again, my basics were there. My foundation was there. Like I knew how to, as we say in the business, I knew how to work, but I didn't know how to stand out from just being a guy that just has good basics, like what's going to make people go, huh, that guy's interesting. What's his thing? And he helped out a lot with that. He really, really did. And I mean, like I said, in 6 months, I was like, wow, You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, those 4 years were beneficial too. They definitely weren't wasted. I learned so much there, but it was just compacted within that 6 months compared to the 4 to 5 years that I was running around the country trying to get my name out there, bookings and this, that, whatever, like what everybody's got to do when they start off. And, yeah, man, it was very paramount for me to just kind of go from here up more there and then continue to.
Because I was thinking, because you also had your time in Japan with
Yeah.
All Japan. Is that right? Is that right? With All Japan?
So in 2018, it was DDT. And
Okay.
then just last year, 2023, I did the World Tag League, with my tag partner, Cyrus, good buddy Cyrus, that's still over there at All Japan. And yeah, that was my first time at All Japan.
Okay.
Two excellent companies. Great. That's the thing about people in, the wrestlers in Japan, the performers, everybody's freaking great at wrestling. Like, everybody's basics is phenomenal, right? It just depends on what's going to connect with the audience or not, stuff like that. Training is superb. They treat it very, very serious there, as it could be, and just, you learn a lot, man. And, I had an opportunity to go there in 2018, Tikataro and a buddy of mine that ran a organization out in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time. He went out to Japan just for business, just to be like, hey, I'm just trying to get information, this, that, whatever. And out of doing that, which took a lot of courage to do, he basically met with the president of DDT and basically
Wow.
it's like, yeah, hey, let's do a talent deal because you're already having guys getting taken care of. And Kikutaro at that time was a part of things at that time. They're like, yeah, let's take a look at some of the guys and send them a bunch of different, prospects, including myself. Hey, who do you think would be beneficial? And I was one of the guys chosen to go. Which was an honor. I was just all like, oh, wow. And then, like I said, man, I went over there and, I did very well. I was regularly scheduled to just have 6 matches, which turned in 13.
Wow.
And
That's
then
good.
also turned into me being a part of the, Natureland match with DDT, which I don't know if you know anything about that, but it's probably one of my most fun matches I ever had, to where I was basically a part of it. But you basically just have a giant group of the DDT wrestlers, and like Speedball Mike Bailey was there at the time. And of course, like, Takeshita, he was injured, but he was there announcing and all this other different stuff. And Hiroshima was there, but like, you basically just go and wrestle and some free for all out in the middle of the forest, like 3 hours outside of Tokyo.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was wild that they wanted me to be like, Ryan, you angry mountain man, Terry Funk, grab ladder, swing like Terry Funk. And I was like, once again, WT, Terry Funk, and in Japan, it's like, it's all full circle. I'm like, yeah, sure, man, absolutely. I had a wonderful time in DDT. Like, they've grown so much, and stuff like that, and then did that, and then always kept contact with people, all throughout there, just trying to figure out ways of like, okay, I had that opportunity, instead of have another one. Well, then COVID, right?
Yeah.
Handled COVID way differently than a lot of countries did, rightfully so, and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, I just kept contacts. I just kept trying to do what I was doing. And then, the next thing you know, there were some people in the office that, remembered from me at DDT, and they loved my work and they paid attention to my work, here in, Texas and around the country. And then they were like, hey, would you be open for the Real World Tag League at All Japan? I'm like,
sign me up.
yeah. So I went over there. Like I said, my tag partner Cyrus, man. I knew him from like Wildcat, and we did some other stuff and everything. Giant guy. He's still over there now. Monster Cyrus. He's killing it, man. He's probably one of the best big men that all fans had there since like Hanson and Brody and Vader. Just killing it. He's doing a great job. And we went over there to tag, man, and it was excellent, man. And just being, in the ring with guys that just like Kento Miyahara and Yuma Yagi and Suwama and, Hideo Suzuki and like all these other different guys. And you're just like, like I'm wrestling these guys like Yuma Anzai and Honda and Akudo and just, the list is on and Ishikawa. It was, real good dude. Ironically kind of looks like the Japanese version of my dad. Like he just like spitty devil. It's really kind of one. It's kind of weird, but other than that, it was a great time. Japan's wonderful, and everybody gets an opportunity.
Because I was thinking about that too, especially coming into a different country. Has the training been similar, the same, different? Like, what makes training in Japan different than training here in the United States?
There's a lot of different factors of it. I can tell you the conditioning is very good, and very carried out and stuff, but also at the same time too, it's like they're very, very well at projecting your emotion. And, that I really do believe, like, there's a lot of terms that get thrown around in wrestling, like, strong style, this and that, and all that other type of stuff. But fighting spirit to me is like the actual one few terms that I'm like, okay, that I get that, because they do a very well job of portraying that, because there's so many different aspects that I love about Japanese wrestling. But one of the things I love the most is that pinfall's better there, to where when someone goes for a pin and a kick out, the crowd's like, oh, he's still in it. He had that fighting spirit. Yeah, come on, fight. And to me, I'm just like, well, yeah, because that's how you win or lose a match. You're either doing the pin or you're getting the pin, right? So it's very dramatic on that aspect. So there's so many different things on that. The training and stuff. I can tell you at DDT, it was so warm in Japan, which, you're on an island, right? It's a giant island.
Yeah.
So it's, even in Tokyo, it was like record high heat waves, and you're in this, this dojo, no air conditioning. They have the windows open, of course, which helps a little.
Not by much.
Going through, like, buddy, I'm surviving on Pocari Sweat, which is like their version of Gatorade over there. And I'm going through like 4 or 5 shirts for like 2 hours with like maybe 4 to 7 other guys, just bumping, doing spots, doing a lot of lucha style conditioning and stuff like that. All these other different things, which was great. All Japan, they definitely have a great dojo, which is legendary. It was one of Giant Baba's old houses that they converted into that dojo a long time ago, which was really cool. So they told me as I arrived to the dojo, they're like, "Oh yeah, Ryan's Giant Baba house." I was like, "Huh? What? Wait, me Giant Baba?" And it's cool. And the dojo's still there, and it's a wonderful place. And yeah, it's a big 2-story house, and they have this giant extension with the ring and all the weights and all the workout equipment that you can ask for. And training there, just because it was a tournament, it was really, they had a lot of classes for or training sessions, I should say, for a lot of the female talent that was there, the Joshis, and some of the guys. But it was mainly more of just kind of like train on your own and do that. Well, from what I went through at DDT, I just kind of continued that, being at the All Japan dojo, and then learned a couple other things too, because they would have like group warm-ups before every show for like a lot of the members in All Japan. So like guys would gather around the ring and do different calisthenics and stretching and run different blow-up drills and stuff like that, because that was just their routine. So picking up on that and being a part of that was really, really cool and stuff. But like, man, like I can tell you, if anybody gets into pro wrestling and they have never gone to a gym, or they can't really do a push-up, and you think you can do the same thing that Roman Reigns does, think again. You need to be in shape, or at least have a baseline. Like, you need to be able to, hey man, if you can do 50 push-ups, 200 squats, probably 25 burpees, and run a 10-minute mile, that's bare minimum in my mind.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be a cop, you got to run a 10-minute mile for a PT test. But I think that's the big thing too, of just like, hey, you have to be somewhat physically inclined. You don't have to be the best. Just be physically inclined before you jump in there, especially if you want to go to a Japanese dojo and train. Because let me tell you something, it's different. So,
and it's strict.
right.
I noticed that it's very strict, because I even matches, I kind of noticed, you mentioned it, where every pinfall counts, but like within that setup, everyone is quiet because they're intently watching and seeing where the story unfolds. Excuse me. And I was like, oh, that's right, because like they're very intent of how the moves are leading to that pinfall. It's completely different than here in the US, where it's like every interaction, every crowd is kind of like, oh, okay, that's right. But in Japan, everyone's watching, and then when that pinfall happens, and everyone starts to go, everyone's going home on that match. You see the build up to whoever is going over for that match.
Right. The psychology is different too in a lot of different ways, but I'll try not to go too much in detail on that, just because we can talk about that for like 5 hours to get like a point across, right? But I will say that like the Japanese audience, and they are unbelievable. They're just such good people. Like, I'll be honest with you. This is not a knock on anybody. I'm just being honest. Okay. I've gotten better photos of myself in the ring being in Japan from wrestling fans than the photographers that are racing.
Really?
Yeah, you're just, they are enamored. They're ready. When they go to the merch table, they're so polite, generous. They want to, they want to be a part of what you got. They want to follow you on social media and do all these other different things. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And, yeah, they are conditioned to a lot of things, but it's not that they're quiet. Trust me. They're not quiet. They're just
Oh,
as
really?
loud.
Okay, I must have heard somewhere else then.
Yeah. No, they used to be. Now, here's the thing. You are right on the fact of just they're way more of like, pay attention and be in tune with what's going on as compared to like American crowd. It's like, oh, that's cool. And you look at your phone and so, whatever. They don't really do that unless it's like in between matches and stuff like that. So, you have that, which is great. But, it's just different because, we all know that wrestling is entertainment as it should be, right? Like it's entertainment, stuff like that, all this other stuff. But like in Japan, one of the other aspects that I like about it is that you really do, even though it is still entertainment, it is way more like you are in a legitimate sport, professional sport, and you get treated as such, right? Because like in Japan, it's like you have baseball players, sumo, okay? And then really right underneath that, it's like pro wrestlers, MMA, maybe somebody on the Olympic team. Like you're right up there in the top three as far as how people look at you and want to, hang with you or talk with you and stuff like that. And it's very, it's cool. It's great. And you get handled like that. And plus, for people that go over there, especially, foreigners, guys that go over there, it's a great experience. And that's why Japan's such a beautiful country anyways. The people are great. But also it's like everybody kind of treat you like, if I played in the NFL, here in the States, and people be like, this guy plays for whoever, you know what I mean? Like it's that like that over there for sure. So, it's just a wonderful, wonderful place, man. Learned so much there. Like I said, I really hope anybody and everybody that aspires to go to Japan, I hope they get that opportunity, man, because it's a great time.
Exactly, because we're going to segue into reality in your time as a coach. How did that come about with Booker when you had the call to coach the students here at Reality?
So it was during the time of that school, there was like me and like a group of guys that would always like we'd be at training like all the time, right? Just learning and stuff like that. And cool thing about it was we would always just bounce ideas off each other or like watch each other's matches and be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Go to like a collaborative brainstorm and stuff like that. And, for me, I can tell you without being egotistical about it, I've always kind of, I guess, the gift of God is for talent. I've always kind of seen like a person, like a guy or a girl, that I kind of feel like there's something there. There's something there. We just got to find a way to get at it, right? And I've luckily have been pretty consistent on that and like have helped them bring that out. I've always been pretty much a giving person. I just, I only had two goals in wrestling: make wrestling better than I found it, and just be respected, admired by my peers, where people would still want to work. I never want to walk into a building where somebody's like, "You got to work Ryan Davidson tonight," and they're like, "Oh,
That's like next.
You know what I mean?" I don't want to be that guy. I want people to be like, "Oh, I'm working Ryan, Ben, awesome, like that's great," like, and they get excited no matter if we worked each other for the 400th time or whatever, right? That was just always my thing. It worked out well so far. But as far as it being coached, it's like those things started like on. So we got to a time period to where, at the school, it was like there was kind of hardly anybody coming in beside this one group with me included of these guys and stuff like that. And they wanted to kind of like restructure the school. And well, pretty much was like, hey, what do you think about being a trainer? I knew that was a big responsibility. So with that, I go, okay, I'll do that, but I think we should have other guys in other aspects, because just like how we were in brainstorming collaborative, everybody had different styles and different sides. And that's why everybody got better, because if you just learn from one person and one style, then you're basically pigeonholing yourself to only just have that, you have to get aspects from people that have a lucid background, have a European background, that have a background in Japan, that have a background here, this part of the United States and part of the United States and this and that, whatever, just to bounce things off of each other. So pretty much went and got some guys together, and it was basically at that time, it was like, myself, Gino Medina, Eric Lockhart, Rob Barnes, JJ Blake. And it was just like, hey, what do you think about all this? Just pretty much, just being coaches and just kind of figuring it out. And each one of those guys is very special and just coaching and just kind of get their point across, so to speak. And that's where a lot of that stuff just kind of generated and built up from there. And then, of course, outside of that too, like Aiden Cristiano's phenomenal coach. He's still a coach here with us in Reality Wrestling, and just great. Where once again, it's bouncing each other's ideas. This guy has this type of background. This guy has that type of background. This might work. Try this. Try that. And from there, it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And, to be honest with you, I just never felt like to be honest, when somebody says, hey, Ryan, you're the head trainer, like, okay, but like, I don't think I'm above anyone. I'm the coach.
That's why I said coach, because I knew there is a sense of equality for coaches.
Right.
Because because I did work with someone from AEPW, I still call him coach, and he's the head trainer and the owner. There is an amount of equality for each of the coaches because they have the same material as that happens. So I'm like, head trainer, it kind of puts you on a pedestal, but at the same time, a coach is like, okay, at least they're on level ground with the other coaches too.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I don't have an ego in it, because at the end of the day, I know for a fact that as long as I've played a part in helping somebody get better in this business and they just get elevated, that's really all it is. And luckily, I've played a part. Like, there's a bunch of banners that hang in the Raw Arena. Basically, anybody and everybody that has ever done something in wrestling or gotten to a high level, and I've been fortunate enough to have one of those. And I got one hanging. But it's also the fact of like, I can honestly say for myself, besides my own thing, like, I played a part in the Usos when they were out here at the PWA, and like Roxy, but it wasn't just me. It was Aiden Cristiano and Gino, and then you had Eric Lockhart and then Rob Barnes and JJ Blake. Like, everybody played a part, because it was just like, you go down the line and you see all these different people. I'll never say that like, oh, I trained that guy or girl. I would just say, oh, I've helped train them for it. Because I can't take the full credit for doing that, because once again, you're not going to get to where you want to be by just going down one road. You have to ask and go and pick up things here, there, this, that, whatever. And if anybody comes up to me and go, or if somebody asks like, hey, you training? They're like, oh, so, Ryan Davidson and this, that. And if I'm a part of that conversation, this is popular. That's cool. If not, that's fine too, because once again, I'm only here. I don't need, dude, I never would imagine I'd have a banner in an arena somewhere, which is great. Like, that's cool. Like, hey man, like, I'm not in it, once again, to, get flowers and all that stuff, which those things are nice and stuff. I'm in it to just make it better than I found it. And I just want to be respected and also add value. I just want to be a guy that somebody works me and they're having a match with me, they're not going to look at it as negative side. They always look at it as positive. At the moment that starts to go the other way, leave those boots in the ring, and I'll see y'all later, man. I'll probably hop on the head or something, So, but I know I got a lot of gas left in the tank, man. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So,
because I was going to ask that too, and of course, with every training day in the academy, feedback and honesty have been such a paramount thing for any training that's going through training. How has that experience being that wrestler to share that knowledge to the ones who are still trying to figure out how to know this wrestling thing?
Well, that's the other thing too. I think the best trainers are the ones that are echoes of people that train them, are also trained by the experience that they learned themselves, and also, most importantly, staying open, right? You can't be so closed-minded. Now, there's certain things that for a fact, this works no matter which way that wrestling is going, this direction, not direction, this, that. There's certain tactics and things, like, it's always going to be this, because that's what entertainment and pro wrestling has always been, and nothing's ever going to change that, right? But there are other things where, like, there's room to wiggle, and it's like play. Like, pro wrestling itself is play. I can make a cup, I can make a bowl, I can make a boss, I can make a picture frame, I can make anything I want. I just have to mold it and do whatever, which means that it's open for creativity. It's open to change and adapt and evolve and things like that. And for me, you know, it's one of those things that the only way that you stay relevant or just keep doing things in wrestling is that you just have to stay open-minded. Because, like, man, this year was my 20th year as a professional wrestler. Okay. 20, 2 decades, dude. Two, right? And it felt like it only felt like it's been a couple of years. It doesn't feel like 20, right? But it all goes by, man. And I'm so grateful that I can still do that and do it at a high level and still keep getting better in a lot of ways. And also the fact too of just being open-minded and really, like, when you coach somebody, it's not just barking orders and having them follow. It's making them understand or like, hey, what's going through your mind when you're feeling this? Like, what are the issues that you have? Like, what are questions that you get, right? Like, maybe this and that, because that's the other thing too. You can kind of learn from a student, somebody you're teaching. Like, well, I'm kind of thinking this and that. You're like, that's actually not bad. I don't mind you.
Yeah.
I never looked at it that way myself. You know what? You might be into something, right? And then you go from that. And then that's also where that trust builds up to where, hey, as a coach, I'm here to just tell you to run the plays, do this, whatever. I'm here because, once again, we're here to try to find your true potential, your highest potential. That's it. Got to give yourself room to grow. We got to find out the things that you do not need to do and avoid those, but also what are the positives and the weaks? Strengthen these and let's work on these, right? Like, that's it. And so far, so well, it's worked out pretty good. And, it's really cool to see a lot of people. I get a lot of joy. No, I'm not the only one. I get a lot of seeing somebody that, like, their first day in, they can't even do a forward roll. And then a year or two down the line, they have their first championship belt around them. It's just like, that's
You
what it's
see the
all about.
progress. You see the progress that they're doing.
Yep, absolutely. And it's great. It really is. And it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. So it's awesome.
Because I was thinking about this too, and especially because you have a championship belt on your side too. Is that the Lone Star Championship? Is that right?
It's the Texas title. It was formerly the what was it? I think it was called the what was it? So me and Danny Limelight had a rivalry, and it was the Empire Championship, and he put that ugly
That's right. I
New
forgot
York
about that.
Yankees thing on the top. Get out of here, bro. Bucky's, in the words of
right.
Caroline,
That's all right.
one of our ladies on commentary, Bucky's over bodegas. You know what I mean? So it was like, get that out here. But yeah, no, like, Danny was amazing. He's such an amazing performer. He's great. And I'm like, that guy, like, that's definitely one of the better and best unsigned talents that are out there. Like, how that guy doesn't have a contract somewhere. It's like, wrestling being wrestling sometimes, just all depends on the timing of the opportunity, right? But yeah, no, Texas Championship, and, it's great. I'm kind of at a point in my career, man, where, like, titles, like, it's great. It's awesome. But, like, for me, it's just like, I just want to have great matches, whether I win or lose. I don't ever want somebody to buy a ticket and be all like, oh, God, it was tough watching Ryan. That's it. As long as people are just like, man, that Ryan Davidson match with so-and-so was awesome. No matter what it was.
Yeah.
Tags, whatever. Dude, that's it, man. It's all I need. It's all.
Because it's a standard too. Because, like, what if these students that are like, I want to get that belt, what would it take to even be in a match like that? And what would you contribute to leading to either facing you on a title defense or something else like that?
I think it basically just comes with, because at the end of the day, the title only makes the title mean something for whoever's carrying.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it's just a title. It's just an object, right? And the only way that it gets meaning and value are the people that have held that, made that into something, right? So it depends on the person. So what I would say is that, how dedicated are you to get to a point where you can have that? Are you coachable? Do you have progress? Do you have a really good positive attitude? Are you physically inclined or getting physically inclined? Like I said, you don't have to have the best physique on the show. But then again, if you do, it really helps. That's an advantage, and do all that stuff. And do you understand? And are you like always wanting, once again, do you have a growth mindset, right? Like, do you have a growth mindset of just, it's not about questioning. I love people question stuff. I love it. I'm not sitting there like, once again, do what you're told and shut up, because that's a very old school thing. Sometimes it's necessary, when young kids think that they know everything and they don't. But, that's very fair. It is. But also at the same time, it's like having a growth mindset. It's not about, it's not about like you thinking you know it all. It's all like, well, what else can I learn? How can I grow? What is this? Maybe I can different way and be creative of like, okay, I know how to tell this story, but how can I make that type of story even better by putting this element, that element, da, 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 da. Going back to like brainstorming. So it's a lot of those elements and stuff that can put you in a position to get a championship match opportunity, all that other different type of stuff. I think it just comes with work ethic and consistency mixed in with a sprinkle. And I was just talking about it before we started this interview. Mixed in with a sprinkle of luck and timing. Because I'll be honest with you, there's some people that say there's no such thing as luck. There is. It just depends. Do you know what to do with it? Because you can be lucky to get something, and that's fine, right? Like everybody's, is lucky and they're like, oh, look, I found a $5 bill on the street today, right? Like that's luck, right?
Yeah.
Also at the same time, it's like, what are you going to use with that? Are you going to take that $5 and throw it in the trash can, or are you going to take that $5 and put it into something, invest in something, right? Just as an example or analogy. So it's one of those things of just wrestling is like luck and timing. Because opportunities, like, they do come, right? They really do. But the only thing that makes an opportunity worthwhile is that, were you prepared for that opportunity? Were you good enough to excel in that opportunity? You don't got to be perfect. No one. Were you good enough to capitalize on that opportunity? That's it. Just good enough. And then from that, you just keep going. That's it.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, because by the time this is recording, the Sherry Martel Classic is happening this weekend, and then by the time Sunday, the episode airs, it is this Sunday. And then by the time this episode airs, we have the new event over on the 12th. And seeing the students excel to have their TV time in the ring, and from from you seeing as a coach, like that must have been nice seeing, all the hard work that you guys will always put through day in and day out to be in that point in their careers.
Absolutely. I mean, and and one thing too is that, like, I can tell you with reality wrestling, and it's I try my best not to sound like a company guy, but then again, Row is home to me, and a lot of places are home to me too, wherever I put my boots on. But also, Row is like one of the few places where a wrestler, when you get done with a match, get through with a match, and you come into the back, you're not just going to get told, "Oh, hey, good job, man. Oh, I heard the crowd. It sounded great." Which you hear all the time as a wrestler when you run around doing the ropes. Right. You're actually going to get people that pay attention and go, "Hey man, what was that moment?" Or this or that, or "Hey, I didn't know about this," or "Hey," or that. Plus, on top of just me or guys like Aiden Cristiano or somebody else, you got a 2-time Hall of Famer Booker T in it. Then right there in our version of Gorilla, right, which is the area right before you go and you walk out and everything. It's our version of it, which I believe it's called Paul Bach. It's named after Paul Bach to get with the term, right? So like the Paul Bach area. Okay. So it's one of those things where like you have that again, 2-time Hall of Famer telling you this, that, take it with this. Hey, don't do that. Why are you doing this? Right. And it's one of those things, right? And it's not like trying to be, hard on anybody, but also sometimes it's necessary for you to go, okay, once again, the guy that got yelled at probably more than Book, but I love him. But also at the same time, I grew from it, man. I grew from it. I learned from it. It made me better. It's not what I wanted, I'll tell you, but it made me better, right? And it was one of those things where it's just like, oh, okay, so you need that. And then like people will go, oh, like I don't get that type of, that critique anywhere unless I go to a tryout at a seminar, and even those are few and far between. And it's like, yeah, well, this place is great because you can have people that come up to you and, hey man, I kind of noticed this. What was going through your mind doing this and that? And to me, that's how you get better. I'm sorry, no one's going to get better if you just do shows and people just be like, good job, man. Because then you're thinking, oh, I'm doing a good job. When really, there's probably a lot of work you got to do and you probably
There's
don't even know.
something missing.
Right. Right. So, the end of the day, man, like it's just, it's very beneficial for people that have the opportunity to work here. And, other places are like that too, but it's few and far between. I would say it. It just is, and, it's just one of those things that like, it's one of those small things that are actually a big thing as a performer. They just grow and get, so very cool.
Yeah. Cause like now we're kind of close to wrapping up, but I want to ask this too. Cause,
Oh, you're fine.
going
good,
back
man.
into going to that banner and seeing that and kind of explained it a little bit. How do the students look at that banner every time they're in training when they look at that?
So that banner hangs out in the rafters where we tape all the the TV episodes and stuff like that for reality wrestling and everything. And it's a long list of people. It's got like Kylie Ray and Dio Madden, and you got Brian Keith, Ninja Max, Sammy Guevara, the Uso, Roxanne Perez, Medina. I know I'm probably leaving somebody out. I think Duke Hudson from NXT.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, and like I'm probably missing like one or two other people, so I apologize because there's like 15, 20 people in there. I think HUA there too is stuff like that. So you got all these different people that do that. Blake Cortez. Now that I think about it, seeing that, I think two things. I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to prosper and be good enough to be noticed in that way, to have a band surrounded by all those wonderful and talented people. And then also every single one of those people, large or small, I played a part in helping with it, right? Now, I'm never going to take full credit for any of them, and I don't have to, right? But it's one of those things that, like, I played a part, and every single one of those people gotten better. So when I look at that and I tell students that, I also look at it as, like, not a gloating thing. I'm sitting there going, hey, man, there's that wall, too, and there's that rafter right over there. Like, you should look at it and how I look at things too from other people, that rather than trying to compare yourself to somebody, because comparison is the joy, as we know, as a cliche goes, which is true. You look at that and you go, well, heck, if he or she got one, I can get one too. Right. So
Right.
students look at that and go, oh, okay. Oh, he got that. What? A couple of years, I'll have one of those. Cool. Yes, you will. That attitude. Yes, you will. Because at the end of the day, whether you're right or wrong, you're right. And I've heard something great. I tell those people I train to where it's like, when somebody says that, like, I don't think I'm confident in something. I don't trust that something's going to work out. I heard somebody say, like, yeah, you're confident. And yeah, you do have trust. And they're just like, no. I just said I don't have confidence in this and I don't trust the thing that. They're like, no, you're confident that you're not confident. And you trust that something isn't going to work out for you. See, it all depends on how you look at it. It's perspective. Because you're right either way. If you really feel like you're going to get this, and this, and you back that action up, you're right. But guess what? If you don't, either way, you're right. So which side do you want to be on? And it's true. It really is. And from that, anybody can matter, man. I'm even grateful to just even be a part of the conversation, to be honest with you. So it's cool.
Yeah. And we're going to close out here. And I was thinking about this. First of all, thank you so much. We're going to talk All Japan down the line if we're going to see each other in person.
Dude, yeah.
We'll talk about that like for hours.
I'll talk about that.
Because I was like, man, are we going to talk about, we have to focus on here, but I digress.
You're good, buddy. No problem.
Yeah. So we have 3 other guests who are either students at 3 different levels. Mm-hmm. What, from your perspective, especially now, like, give us a preview on what these students are highlighting in terms of where they're at in their careers in wrestling.
I think for wherever it comes down here, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know the other people that are going to be interviewed out here. So, yeah, but I can tell you for anybody here, it's just like, I mean, it's kind of what I said of just like brainstorming to see what worked for them and what didn't. Because, when I train somebody, I want to highlight what not to do, which is Book's very big on, but also make sure that, like, hey, man, there's progress in this. Like, you're getting better at this. Like, you still need to fix these situations and this thing of what not to do. But hey, we're not going to neglect that there's progress over here, right? Like, it's kind of the same way of life. Like, if you constantly look at the negatives and you got to get, and you never stop to smell the roses, so to speak, then you're just going to drive yourself into the ground. You got to stop and go, oh, I got to do that. Oh, okay. I got to do that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And it gives you that drive and fuel, and it reaffirms yourself that, oh, when I go after something, eventually, whether it happens fast or it doesn't, eventually it's already done. It's come, because guess what? This thing and this thing and this thing and so on. So hopefully with those people that get interviewed on this, they're going to share their experiences and share what helps them and what they learn. And once again, all different landscapes and backgrounds, right? So yeah, I love hearing people's different perspectives and their different thought processes on things. And looking forward to the other interviews that take place on it, man, people's experiences. And, I'm grateful to be a part of this and have a chance to, share my 2 cents, which sometimes turns into $1.30, and and just do my thing, man. I'm grateful for it, and keep getting better, man. I keep getting better. All right, let's go.
Oh my goodness!
The only time I put myself over. That's it.
So I have nothing left to give. You have the floor. Where can we find you, Ryan? And if there's anything coming up in October, you take it away.
Yeah, man. So RD Bear 57 on Instagram, Twitter, Ryan Davidson on Facebook. I've been kind of lax on social media as of late and kind of picking it up. I've had some personal things happen in my personal life to where I'm just now catching up on things of like, oh yeah, I still got to talk about this or post this about, being on heels and Netflix and this, that, when we moved to Netflix and all this other stuff. So bear with me, but trust me, I have a lot of great content, a lot of Japan content on there, and I'm on and stuff. Upcoming events, man, October 6th, Wildcat Sports, down there in Metairie, Louisiana, right on the outskirts of New Orleans, Louisiana. Wildcat Wrestling, man, phenomenal company with Luke Hawks and company, dude. PJ Hawks, Fuku Dow, Jay Spade, Chuck Devine, Danny Flamingo, all those guys, phenomenal, man, phenomenal company, wonderful people. October 12th, of course, we got Reality Wrestling. I know River City Wrestling in San Antonio, October 19th, 20th. And then, of course, October 26th, right outside of Houston, Texas, in Beaumont, Hurricane Pro. It's been a while since I've been at Hurricane Pro. It's one of my stopping ground places. I love the fans and the talent there, man. So I get to go back there and just keep on going and moving forward, man. And, onward and upward. So, and I appreciate you having the time with me. Come on here and just.
Awesome. So we're off to a flying start on Crash Course. So whoever's going to be there next week, they better pick the slack. Come on the next episode. But otherwise,
they ain't got no choice. No, don't be.
And for those who are watching and listening, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.